You are tuned to the Indraprasth channel of Akashvani. The freedom struggle of India is written with the sacrifices of many known and unknown heroes who attained martyrdom and gave the supreme sacrifice of their life for India to wake up in a new dawn of freedom. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is one such name that sparkles bright on the horizon of Indian freedom struggle. Today is Netaji's birth anniversary, and we have invited Vidushi Vats to speak on the topic Netaji, the leader of the masses. Over to Vidushi Vats.
Freedom is not given, it is taken. It is blood alone that can pay the price of freedom. Give me blood, and I will give you freedom. The quote that infused and inspired nationalism as a creative force in Indians for centuries was by none other than Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, the leader who coined the term Jai Hind, who had the ultimate charisma and passion which made him a true national hero among people, who became the epitome of courage and resilience. Today, we'll take you through the journey of his unparalleled commitment, sacrifice, and contributions in the Indian freedom struggle. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was born in Cuttack, Odisha on January 23rd in the year 1897. A brilliant student, Netaji ranked second in the matriculation examination and studied at Presidency College, Calcutta. He later went to England to prepare for the Indian Civil Services exam. In the year 1920, he passed the ICS examination. The merciless killing of scores of innocent Indians at Jallianwala Bagh shook his conscience, and he quit his high-paying ICS job. He came back to India from England in 1921 to join India's struggle for independence. He came back to India from England in 1921 to join India's struggle for independence. He joined non-cooperation movement started by Mahatma Gandhi, who advised him to work with Chittaranjan Das, who became his political guru. He played a major role in enlightening the students, youth, and labourers of Calcutta. He was eagerly waiting to see India as an independent, federal, and republic nation. After that, he became a youth educator and commandant of the Bengal Congress Volunteers. He started the newspaper Swaraj. In 1924, he became the CEO of Calcutta Municipal Corporation. He was sent to prison in Mandalay for nationalist activities in 1925. In 1927, he was released from prison and elected the president of the All India Youth Congress and also the secretary of the Bengal State Congress. In 1930, he became the mayor of Calcutta. He authored the book, The Indian Struggle, which covers the Indian independence movement from 1920 to 1942. The book was banned by the British government. He formed the All India Forward Bloc in 1939 as a faction within the Congress. The prime objective of the Forward Bloc was to bring all radical elements of the Congress party so that he could spread the meaning of complete independence of India with adherence of the application of principles of equality and social justice. He said, by freedom, I mean all-round freedom. That is, freedom for the individual as well as for the society. Freedom for the rich as well as for the poor. Freedom for men as well as for women. Freedom for all individuals and for all classes. Later, he was held under house arrest by the British because of how he had been opposing their rule. However, he left the country secretly in 1941. The authorities did not come to know for many days that he was not in the house in which he was being guarded. He travelled by foot, car, and train and resurfaced in Kabul, only to disappear once again. In November 1941, his broadcast from German radio sent shock waves among the British and electrified the Indian masses who realized that their leader was working on a master plan to free their motherland. It also gave fresh confidence to the revolutionaries in India who were challenging the British in many ways. He visited Japan in 1943 where the royal administration said yes to his appeal for help. With extraordinary leadership skills, he revived the Indian National Army, popularly known as Azad Hind Fauj, in 1943, which was initially formed in 1942 by Rash Behari Bose. It was the beginning of an armed coup. The Azad Hind Fauj comprised of about 45,000 soldiers, among whom were Indian prisoners of war, as well as Indians who were settled in various countries of Southeast Asia. He espoused concrete economic planning and showed the way himself. It also needs to be remembered that it was he who encouraged Indian women to play an important role in the activities for the freedom of India. A women's regiment of Azad Hind Fauj was formed, which was under the command of Captain Lakshmi Swaminathan. It was called the Rani Jhansi Regiment. The Azad Hind Fauj became the symbol of unity and heroism to the people of India. He told his army, "It is our duty to pay for our liberty with our own blood. The freedom that we shall win through our sacrifice and exertions, we shall be able to preserve with our own strength." In December 1943, INA freed the Andaman and Nicobar Islands from the British and were renamed as Swaraj and Shaheed Islands. Subhash Chandra Bose wanted to free India from the Eastern Front. Subhash Brigade, Azad Brigade and Gandhi Brigade were formed. INA marched through Burma and occupied Cox Town on the Indian border. They were now inside India and were determined to drive out the British. "Dilli chalo, let's march to Delhi," was the war cry. However, the attempt to liberate India by the Azad Hind Fauj failed. Netaji, however, was not one to surrender. He attempted to flee and renew his struggle yet again. He escaped on a plane from Taihoku Airport, but he never made it. The assault by the INA, no matter how short-lived it was an important factor that eventually contributed to the British decision to stop their operations and shift back to their own land. This, in the end, did pave the way for India's independence. Netaji once quoted that one individual may die for an idea, but that idea will, after his death, incarnate itself in 1,000 lives. Exactly how Netaji's heroic idea and life incarnates itself in every Indian, even today.
Netaji, the leader of the masses. You just heard this talk by Vidushi Vats. English talks are aired from the Indraprasth channel of Akashvani on every Tuesday. Stay tuned in for our next broadcast.